Good evening, dear students. I am Revan Siddhappa MB, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Namthi, Davangere District. BA Degree Program, Optional English, prescribed for 6th semester, Davangere University, Davangere. It is the paper number 9 and the title is 20th Century Literatures First. It is an elective paper. Session number 43. Topic: D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lovers, in which you are going to study or understand a very brief introduction to the author D.H. Lawrence and the autobiographical elements that are being seen in his novel Sons and Lovers. In this session, students are enabled to understand the brief biography of the author D.H. Lawrence, who is the British author. And after the end of the session, the students will be able to understand the autobiographical elements in the novel Sons and Lovers also. Okay, dear students, during the last few sessions, you have understood the American play by Tennessee Williams titled Streetcar Named Desire. It was an expressionistic play. It is a wonderful play, and you are going to see some of the major themes of this play, like there was the class conflict. See, Blanche Dubois, who had lost her mansion at the Bellevue, and she was forced to some exploitations or encounters in her life as a whole. See, her fall from high class to low class, or upper class to lower class, or middle class, you may call. So there was a kind of class struggle that is being noticed. Apart from it, there was the sex roles. See, Blanche Dubois, due to some of the misfortunes of her life, she had lost her job, lost her hereditary mansion, and she badly in need of some security, and that security from men. And this is because of her gender, that is to be noticed. And throughout this play, you are going to see that thing also. And the next theme, we can have violence and cruelty. Throughout the play, there was the violence and also cruelty. See, in that play as a whole, Blanche Dubois, when she came to her sister's home, who were living in a small home, and she had some shady past. Okay, see, there was a conversation between her brother-in-law Stanley, okay, and she always tries to flirt with the men, that is being noticed, but she is being misunderstood, and ultimately what happens, you know that she is being exploited sexually, and it can be called violence or cruelty. See, this is being seen in this play as a whole. Madness is the another important theme of this play. Here, at the end of the play, Blanche Dubois was being exploited by her brother-in-law, had prone to some nervous disorder. See, these are the important themes that you come across. and this play takes place after Second World War, and the setting place is said to be the New Orleans of Louisiana. So this is the these are the important points that we need to remember. Now let me go for the next slide. This is the brief biographical introduction of D.H. Lawrence, of 20th century writer. His full name is David Herbert Lawrence. He was born in 1885, Eastwood, Nottinghamshire. Eastwood, Nottinghamshire. Fine. I told you he was an English writer and also a poet. He had written fictions, non-fictions, poems, okay, like that. And he was the fourth child. He was the fourth child of Arthur John Lawrence and Lydia Beardsall. They are his parents. Arthur John Lawrence was an illiterate person, and he was working in the mines. So he is a miner. He was working in the working class. He belonged to working class. And he had settled there in Brinsley Colliery. He settled at Brinsley Colliery. And Lydia Beardsall was a former pupil teacher. See, his mother, Lydia Beardsall, was the teacher. And she was also a daughter of George Beardsall. George Beardsall was an engineer. See, these two characters are actually autobiographical characters. When you study Sons and Lovers, you need to remember this particular thing. Father, an illiterate and also working in mines, and his mother, Lydia Beardsall. Okay, she was an ex-teacher, and apart from that, Lydia Beardsall, when she was very young, she was being jilted. She was being jilted by her friend. Okay, so the same concepts and the same incidents are being written in Sons and Lovers. When you study Mrs. Morrell and her life story, you are going to see that thing in the first chapter of the novel Sons and Lover itself. Yes, apart from that, his father, Arthur John Lawrence, was also a singer in Brinsley Church, and we enjoyed dancing in that church. See, this is also an autobiographical element that you are going to see in the novel Sons and Lovers. Remember, his father was a illiterate coal miner, and his mother was well educated, and for some period of time she worked as the teacher also. And apart from that, his father, Arthur John Lawrence, was addicted to drinking, and he had almost spent most of his wages, you may call wages, for his drinking bouts, so that this family is forced to suffer the poverty, a kind of poverty. So she was fed up with this, and because of this thing, it was their marriage was incompatible, and they have married life unhappy married life. And because of that reason, as he came home late every day by drinking, there was a quarrel between the couple, and the children were terribly afraid of the consequence of the quarrel. That is also being seen in the first part of the novel, Sons and Lovers. She thought that she was superior to him. She thought that she was superior to him in education, in standard of living, and standard of thinking in all these ways. It is the portrait of D.H. Lawrence. See, I told you that Arthur and Lydia were his parents. There was the incompatibility in always in all by all means. And look at this thing. There was the second son, and his name was Arthur. Arthur was the favorite of his mother. See, she wanted all her daughters to get married in the upper class families, and she did not want either of her sons to be the minors or the working class persons working. She did not wish them to work in the mines, and she had some ambitions on her children. Okay, so whatever the thing it is, her second son Arthur was her favorite. She had all her love and affection towards him, but it is very unfortunate when in London he died. During that time, during that time, she had been depressed by the situation, and she was totally disturbed, and because she had some Oedipal love towards her second son Arthur. Okay, so when he died, and we know that she gradually turned to her next son, that was David. See, David is described like this. He was a delicate, pale brat with a stuffy nose. The same description is being seen in the novel Sons and Lovers while describing Paul Morrell. Okay, see, um, he was a very delicate boy, was very shy, however. And once when her second son Arthur died, and she turns to her sons as her lovers, and this time David. And David, Herbert Lawrence, became the mother's fixation. And for each and everything, he had depended upon his mother. See, at the age of 17, David Lawrence falls sick, and during this time, he came very close to his mother, and she nursed him back to life, and he realized that a kind of bond was sealed between mother and son. Okay, so this is in this way mother and son and the relationship is bound. And soon after this, he cannot achieve any satisfactory emotional adjustment with any other woman till Mrs. Lawrence was alive. Now let us know something about his education. He was good at studies. He got scholarships in Nottingham High School. David Herbert Lawrence met Jessie Chambers in 1901. Jessie Chambers was living with her father in a farm about 2 miles from Eastwood, and Lawrence often either walks to her farm or cycle to her farm, and both of them have spent a lot of time together by reading Longfellow, Scott, Dickens, Cooper, Stevenson, and little later Carlyle, Schopenhauer, and finally Huxley. See, they have read all of their works together, and they have discussed, and they have a kind of a reading as their hobby. And he taught Jessie how to read French. See, the same concept is that you are going to study in this novel as a whole. Right. Uh, Whatever the thing it is, their bond in the course of time is very strong. And his mother, Lydia, had seen her son David visiting Jessie Chambers frequently. She was jealous. of their relationship, because Jesse Chambers would take her son David away from her. So that was the fear in her, so that she did not give any consent for her son David to spend a lot of time and have to have a relationship with her. See the same concept that you are going to study in this novel later on. That is the reason. Jesse was necessary for his creative effort because she had supported him to write something, and because of it he needed Jesse Chambers. But however, mother seemed to possess his very soul, and she frequently warned him not to visit her frequently and to have a good relationship with her. Fine, they broke off their relationship after 6 years, and Jesse in November 1910. And later on, his mother died of cancer. It was a great emotional void in his life. His mother died in 1911, I think. Now let us come for the job. See, he joined Haywood's manufacturers of surgical goods in Nottingham as a clerk. See, well, in the beginning, he joined as the clerk in that surgical goods factory, and later on, by the advice of his friend Jesse Chambers, he continued his education, and then afterwards he worked as a pupil teacher in a British school, and he was fed up with that job and he had left it, and then he joined as a teacher at Davidson Road School at Croydon. It was a very famous school, and he worked there, and Jesse Chambers told him to write, and took his poems got published in the English Review. So this is the very important event in his life, because Jesse Chambers is the main person in his life to get his works published in the English Review, because she knew some of the uh, people or the journalists who are working in that magazine. And in the year called 1909, The White Peacock, it is the novel, it was published, and his mother was ill with cancer and died in 1910. Okay, so during this time, I already told you there was a great void of what we call a relationship with his mother. He cannot forget that particular incident and also that mother. Mm, and he fell ill of pneumonia in 1911. So soon after the death of his mother, he falls sick of pneumonia. However, his doctor advised him to leave the job. So because of this reason, he left his job as a teacher in Davidson Road School at Croydon, and he left that job and he left Croydon also. Soon after this, he also broke up with Jesse Chambers in 1911. He did not get satisfaction with her, that is the main reason, and he failed to resist the mother's pull. So this is to be noticed here. You are going to study all these concepts in this novel as a whole. He met Frida Weekly. She was a German origin or descent. She was the wife of Ernest Weekly, who was one of his professor. He was one of his professors, and there was the age gap between this couple, and he was 47 and she was 31, and she had married when she was below 20. So ultimately he came into contact with Frida Weekly. Both of them have attracted each other a lot, and ultimately they eloped. And He had seen the image of his mother in her. This is to be noticed. And Sons and Lovers, originally it had a title Paul Morel. Paul Morel. It was published in 1913. It was the most autobiographical of his early experiences. And remember here, Sons and Lovers, this novel, he is being rewritten 4 times. That is to be noticed here. And it was published in 1913 later on. There was a struggle between his mother and Jesse Chambers. See, when his mother was alive, up to 1910, he could not concentrate either on his mother or on Jesse Chambers, especially his feelings and emotions. He was under great confusion. After composing this novel, he thought that he had unjustly harsh about his father, and he had given this copy of Sons and Lovers to Jesse Chambers, and Jesse Chambers was so hurt by Lawrence's portrayal of her as the zealous Miriam. She never spoke, and from that day onwards she did not meet him again in his lifetime. So these are the novels written by D.H. Lawrence. The Rainbow was published in 1915. Woman in Love, published in 1920. The Lost Girl, published in 1920. Aaron's Rod, published in 1922. Kangaroo, 1923. The Boy in the Bush, 1924. The Plumed Serpent, 1926. Lady Chatterley's Lover, 1928. Escaped Cock, 1929. Later he published as The Man Who Died. See, these are the important, some of the important novels written by him. Among them, The Rainbow and Woman in Love are the most important one, and Woman in Love is the sequel to The Rainbow. See, these two novels are very, very important, and most of the universities prescribe for either at the UG level or at the PG level. The Rainbow depicts the three generations and how they get satisfaction in marriage. It documents the three generations of Brangwen family. First generation related to Lydia and her daughter Anna, and her daughter Ursula. So these are the three generations that you are going to see in that novel. See, and in Women in Love, you are going to see the two sisters, Brangwen sisters, Gudrun and Ursula, and how their relationships are failed, that you are going to see. There are two more important characters, Gerald Critch and Rupert Birkin. See, Gudrun, being an artist, she had a destructive relationship with Gerald Critch, an industrialist. Ursula loves Rupert Birkin, who was an intellectual. Of course, he may be D.H. Lawrence himself. And at the end of the novel, it takes a different turn. Gerald Critch dies. And actually, Gerald Critch and Rupert Birkin were attracted to each other. See, at the end of the novel, Rupert Birkin narrates something about Gerald Critch to Gudrun. So this is the brief note of these two novels, and if we have time, please go through these two novels. Let us see something about his last days. See, I told you that Frieda Weekly was a German, and during that time First World War was going on, and Frieda Weekly, as soon as the British soldiers and the British people heard her name Frieda, they thought that she was the German spy. And she was being suspected in Cornwall in 1916, and hence it was a major thing to change their location of stay. So that they traveled widely. They left England and traveled to Italy, Ceylon. For some time they spent in Australia, and they went to America later on, and finally settled in New Mexico. So this is the thing that we need to know. And in Women in Love, it was published in 1920, brought him some money, but he is sick. But he is sick. And he had written considerable number of short stories, poems, travel books, and non-fictions. And ultimately they returned to Italy, and where Lady Chatterley's Lover was published in 1928. And he had an interest in painting also in 1929. However, fate is very cruel, and he passed away in Venice of France in 1930. So this is the brief introduction about the author and his biography. Autobiographical elements in this novel Sons and Lovers. I told you that Sons and Lovers was published in 1913. The first part of the novel, around 8 chapters, are purely related to his autobiographical elements. Take for example his father, Arthur Lawrence, his own father, Arthur Lawrence, was a worker in the mines, and you are going to see Mr. Morrell in this novel, who is being introduced in the first chapter itself, is also a worker in the mines. And his mother, Mrs. Morrell, or Gertrude Morrell. Gertrude Morrell, the name, I think you might have heard this name somewhere else in Shakespeare's plays. Gertrude Morrell, who is one of the major characters in Hamlet, who had also an Oedipal love with her son, Prince Hamlet, soon after the death of her husband, King Hamlet. Fine. Jesse Chambers in this novel is depicted as Miriam, and his father, Mr. Morrell, is his own father, Arthur Morrell, and his mother, Lydia, is written in this novel as Mrs. Morrell, and his visit to Jesse Chambers farm, Willie farm, that you are going to see later on, and his visit to Miriam in the Willie farm. This is also the same incident that took place in his real life, so it is an autobiographical element. His mining country, see, this is also being seen, and he was a son of working class, and there was the clashes between his father and mother, and the mother fixation in this novel that you are going to see. The Oedipal love between her first son William in this novel and the second son in real life itself, that was Arthur, and the next son Paul Morrell uh, in this novel, but in real life David was the mother fixation. So these are all the same elements that happened in their real life are being seen in this novel. So this is called an autobiographical novel also, and hence these are all the autobiographical elements that you are going to see throughout this novel. Thank you very much.